I didn't do this because this store wasn't around, but my youngest brother, he and his friends used to go to a mall around us. And there was this Indian guy who ran a store called Munchie Times. Munchie Times, not Munchie Time, not Munch Time, Munchie Times. And it was like a place for snacks and then cigarettes. And he was just known for like giving, like he'd sell cigarettes to an 11-year-old. Like if you walked in and had money, he'd just like, not even being sly, just like cigarettes for, $4.50 or whatever they were at the time. And so he became like pretty popular. And then I think he got shut down for something related to that because maybe he branched out and started selling booze underage, which they probably dislike more.
Did you have any place to drink underage when you were a kid? Like what was the go-to way to make that happen?
My house was a big one. Like I would have friends over and like we would do it at my house. My mom was one of those. How old were you? High school age, but we didn't do it a lot. High school age, like it would bounce around. My girlfriend in high school's her family couldn't give less of a fuck. Like her mom like let us use their liquor cabinet when we were over there. So like I was like 16 years old. And then after like breaks from college, when we were still like 19 age college, it was just my house because by that point my mom was like fully in on that plan of like, I'd rather you be hammered here than hammered elsewhere. And it's like, whatever. just keep drinking there. Yeah. There was really and then another friend, his parents knew but pretended they didn't. And so like we'd have to do it out. We'd be like if there's nowhere else to go that night, we're all like 18, 19. We'd be like, we're going to have a bonfire. It's fucking June in Missouri. It's so fucking hot out. And so we make basically like the littlest fire that you could consider a bonfire and then just sit out there with a big group of guys and company and get trashed, chat, have a good time.
I got my first job when I was 13. So from then going forward, I always worked with somebody old enough to get booze or old enough to throw a party that I'd be invited to if I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I could get alcohol. Like, however, I had a guy I could take Chuck, the guy that worked for my dad.
I know Chuck.
Whatever I
wanted. Know Chuck's stories.
Yeah, he'd give me whatever I wanted. No.
God, no.
Chuck don't make it past 40.
No, they don't make it. Maybe 45 or something like that. No, he did not. Because I know because I helped pay for his funeral because there was nobody else to do so. But yeah, Chuck would help me up. I remember when he dropped that 6-pack of beer in the middle of the fucking liquor store with me and my underage cousin standing next to him, and everybody turns and looks at me and my underage cousin and the homeless man that we have brought and all the beer bottles broken on the fucking floor. And he doesn't miss a beat. He says, that handle was fucking soggy. I ain't paying for that. And he grabs another one like angrily and puts it on the thing and starts paying for it. Like he's not accepting any, like, clean that up. What are you doing? Like he ain't hearing it. He ain't hearing it. It's their fault. That was a soggy handle.
Did you ever pull a mister, either of you?
Oh, or no, like, I didn't have to do that.
You just find an adult outside a gas station and go, hey, mister, will you?
No, I've told this before, but when my brother turned 21, I took his birth certificate to the DMV and got a real driver's license with my picture on it.
That's so funny.
And then I took that driver's license as proof of my ID to the county and got a county ID. Then I took that shit to like the library. I got a library card. I had like an expired health insurance. If you were to find my dead body, you'd be convinced my name was Patrick.
Yeah. Got a high interest loan in his name.
There was one real ID like in this back corner in case I got pulled over or something.
That's great.
I remember I was buying alcohol and the dude who went to my high school worked there. And I was about to whip out my fake ID. He's like, Woody, I know you're 21. I'm 17. It's like, we're cool.
Sick. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. There were a couple parents that would have parties over at their house, and clearly, like, they were, I don't know if they could have been more supportive of, like, us having a party with alcohol. Like, the slushy machine had alcohol in it. They had, like, a real slushy machine in their basement, and it just had an upended bottle of Absolute in the top of it, feeding vodka into the slushy. And like, I remember her dad like showing me how to like quickly cool a beer down in an ice like cooler. He's like, yeah, you want to put it in there, you get a little spin to it, and it'll form in there. See how that ice melts around it? And he was like doing this whole thing. That'll be cold in 5 minutes, ice cold. Oh, great. Great, Mr. Lunsford. Thank you so much.
Wait, so this is in the cooler filled with ice. You spin it.
Yeah, he said you put it in there and you spin it, and the ice sort of melts around the bottle and creates this like really close seal to the bottle. That's I learned that when I was 16. I was 16 there. Yeah.
I just knew the wet paper towel trick, where like if you wanted to get any drink cold, beer, water, but whatever you want to drink, wet paper towel, wrap it around there, throw it in the freezer, and the paper towel freezes within like 2 minutes. And then like, but it also is a risk of like, that just amps, like that's shortens the window before something explodes. Like if it's carbonated. And so, it takes a long time for a glass. I don't even know I don't think a glass bottle will explode in the freezer. I think it might just pop the top and like slowly make a little snail trail of like of ice will come out the top. Cans will fucking explode. I've done that so many times. Like I'm out of soda and I buy a new like bunch of soda and they're all warm and I don't drink warm soda. So I'm like, we'll make one cold quick. Put that bitch in the freezer and just completely forget. There was like all the like drinking at people's houses underage. Like I talked about this before, but this is probably 15 years ago now, like 2010 or so. So I was underage. I was 20, like, probably 5 months from turning 21. And we had a big party for my younger brother who was turning, I guess, 19. And he got so trashed before the party started that like he passed out before like, and so the next morning, like the police came and like 40 people got minors in possession of alcohol tickets, and a bunch of people had to, it was rough, but the party before that was a bunch of fun. We had a good time. We would have gotten in trouble for more, except my friend Brett was like, as the police were coming in, was like very high, high-minded. And they came in because my friend Jake was, he robbed a church of animatronic deer in the front of,
dude, I'm glad that was great delivery. Me and Woody are both like, whoa,
right?
Start robbed, and we're like, whoa, what? A church? Oh, wait a goddamn minute, of an animatronic deer. We're like, all right.
Yeah, like I was friendly with Jake, but like he was my brother's age and his direct friend, and so like my brother's like friend group had been like, Jake, you've been doing this thing recently where every time you get trashed, you go steal shit. Don't steal anything, and certainly don't go steal things and bring it back here tonight. And then he got trashed, and then someone drove him around, which was like someone who wasn't even drunk driving him around, or who knows, maybe they were too. But he was like, everyone, there were so many people there, no one noticed they were gone. And then they like showed up later in the night, like walking down the stairs into the basement and like, look what we got. And just these big like animatronic deer that would like raise their head and go back down because it was around Christmas time. And so they ruined the spirit of Christmas of that church. And then like he put it in like the back room, and then the police got called, and apparently like they knew where this guy was, or they knew where he drove back to. And so they all came to my house and broke it all up, came into the house
and said, hey, this guy just stole deer from the church, and we're at this address. That's what happened.
All the guys handled it okay. The girls were like fucking throwing a tantrum when the police were there, like, you're all in so much trouble. And I had like one friend there who was like that kind of bad influence friend who had been in trouble so many times, where the cops are like, you're looking at jail time, doing that cop thing. You're looking at jail time for this. And he's like, oh yeah, jail time? Why don't you lock me up? Why don't you fucking lock me up? Lawyer. Or no, he was like, everyone else had been like taken care of for a while, but he had been arrested before. And all that he took away from his previous attorney's arrest thing was like, plead the fifth. And so like, it was just like me and my brother who'd been passed out for hours, had no idea any of this was happening. Then like a couple of friends who were just going to spend the night because they were too drunk to leave. And so the cops were like, you guys just stay here. And he was like, just sitting on a stool by himself. And the cops are like, you tell us like how much you've been drinking underage, or we're going to take you in. And they like had him cuffed on a stool, and he was just like trashed, like fifth, play the fifth. Great dude. I still talk to him very regularly, but one of my good buddies,
probably doing the right thing. Like
he did.
Oh yeah.
They ended up uncuffing him, and then his older brother, also a friend of mine who was sober, just drove them home. there was nothing that came of. He
could have been a little
people
more
didn't get in trouble.
respectful. I think the police would be even more inclined to let you go if it's just like, hey, kindly.
Yeah. But we would have gotten in more trouble because this was way before weed was legal, and 12 years before it was legal in Missouri. And so, like, as everybody was like freaking out when the cops came in trying to hide the booze before they got into the basement, my one friend Brett was very smart, and he like grabbed all the weed accoutrement and accessories and hid them in the dryer. And so there was just a dryer full of a bunch of weed stuff, and they only found a little bit of the weed stuff. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, that sounds pretty familiar. Yeah, I didn't go to a lot of parties at all. And our parties were a little different too, because you'd be in a barn somewhere. Like that, there were a lot of barn parties, which I don't know.
Maybe a barn party.
Well, like someone's millionaire dad has a barn that's don't imagine an old barn in the country. Imagine like the coolest man cave you can, a country boy's man cave that's full of like plasma TVs in 2002. It was a nice barn party, but it was a barn party. You'd be out in the middle of nowhere, away from everything. So if anybody wanted to beat you up, that was going to happen too. There was no supervision. You were just going to get assaulted.